Hey guys, this is Tom Box. Welcome to MST.TV, and for this video, we are going to be cracking down on mini Chets procedural errors. You guys call it Chets, I'm going to call it mini procedural errors because they are things that people tend to forget, and when they forget, it could have a huge impact, could have a minor impact, but either way, the game state is more or less illegal, and we're going to be breaking down the most common ones right now, and the ones that people tend to forget that I have to call out time and time again. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. But before we begin, I have something to show you guys. I mentioned that if I pulled all those evenly matches, they're going to go somewhere and it's going to be given away. Well, this is the binder that it is currently in. I'll find you the page right now. Okay, so this is the page that it is in right now. See the bottom row right here? That's part of the giveaway. In fact, this whole binder is going to be given away to either one lucky winner, though the binder is probably going to be one lucky winner, but the 69696 box series giveaway, that one hasn't been completely filmed out, so I don't know the total value of it, but should it be a one-person winner giveaway or a multi-person giveaway? I can't even speak properly, but leave it down in the comment section if that's something you want, or also leave down in the comment section a ruling question, and let us begin right now. All right, for today's video, I'm going to cover 3 topics in depth, and then we'll have a quick fire round with stuff that you could basically just read the card and you should be able to get it. If you didn't read the card fully, then you'll probably make that mistake. And I guess this last little bit I kind of want to tag on, which would be related to the best practices guide, because I received a warning on this a couple months ago, and yeah, things have definitely been a lot more strict lately, and I kind of want to dig deeper into that. And why is that? Okay, ruling number 1 relates to Dark Ruler No More versus Dragonmaid tidying. And to give you guys a little bit of context here, this is a classic case of Dragon Link players trying to keep their board live and trying to negate the Dark Ruler No More by using a Dragonmaid tidying as a buffer. So what do I mean by a buffer? Is that Dark Ruler No More doesn't allow monster effects to activate in response to it, correct? But you can still respond with a spell and trap. And once the other spell and trap has been activated, Dark Ruler No More's restriction is no longer applied, since the last spell card does not have that restriction, so now monster effects can be chained to it. And the most common monster that's going to chain to it is going to be Hot Red Dragon Archfiend to target the Dark Ruler No More to turn it off. So can a Dark Ruler No More on the field be bounced back by a Dragonmaid tidying? And the answer to that is no, you cannot. So I'm going to try to debunk 3 reasons why people think you can. First reason is that they think they know how to resolve spells, but they don't. The argument that they make is that, oh, I'm bouncing it back from the graveyard. Let me just stop you right there. You're not bouncing it back from the graveyard if it's in the graveyard, it has successfully resolved already. Yeah, you can bounce back your cards, but all your cards will already be negated, all right? So when they argue that, it's because they think that spell cards, they go into the graveyard during the resolution, and that is not the case, because when you have your cards activated, nothing goes to the graveyard, especially spells and trap cards, nothing goes to the graveyard until the entire chain is done. So if I've activated 1, 2, 3, 4 cards onto the field, say I chain 1 normal spell, 3 quick play spells, none of them will go to the graveyard, unless of course there's effects that dictate that they have to move to the graveyard, or maybe during the activation you have to pay a cost. Sure, then things are moving around. However, if nothing like that of the sort is happening, then nothing really gets sent to the graveyard until the entire chain has resolved. Then you move everything together. So in that particular case, Dragonmaid tidying would have no targets in the graveyard to bounce back, and normal spell cards, trap cards, like regular trap cards, ritual spells, quick play spells, and counter traps, once they have been activated, they cannot be bounced back into the hand, and they can't even be bounced back into the deck. And therefore, if there's nothing in the graveyard, the Dragonmaid tidying will have no valid targets to activate. Therefore, the Dark Ruler No More would resolve and everything would be negated. But if there was anything else in the graveyard at the time of activation, then yes, the Dragonmaid tidying would be forced to target that, therefore acting as the proper buffer for the Hot Red to target the Dark Ruler to turn off the Dark Ruler No More. So that's in one way a legal case for that to happen, but definitely it cannot bounce back the Dark Ruler No More that is currently face up on the field and in the middle of the activation. Now I know that last one is a little bit wordy, but if you guys enjoyed this segment so far, smash that thumbs up button, hit the like, hit subscribe, ding the notification bell. Especially if you want to subscribe, to get this bad boy, right? So let's get back to the next ruling here, which is going to be main phase only effects activated, not in main phase. These are cards that I've seen people activate outside of the main phase, and yeah, it has major impact when they're activated outside of the main phase, because ultimately their key weakness, which is their timing restriction, has been completely stripped away, giving them the ultimate timing to activate any of their cards, which is a little bit ridiculous to me. So let's list off some of these offenders. Number 1 is going to be Prank Kids Pandemonium. This is a main phase only effect, which is why Twin Twisters and Cosmic Cyclones are so popular right now, because a lot of these main phase only effect cards, they are, well, within the meta, and they're quite popular and very, very powerful when they resolve. Card number 2, Shaddoll Schism. Yes, you know, you can stop your opponent from summoning out that window if you just blew up the Schism ahead of time. You know, that's probably one of the best way. And even for Phantom Knights, they have rank up magic. Phantom Knights Force, huge card. Usually leads to like a pop because there's a Rusty that's already on the field, and that counts as an Exceed summon. And now you probably have to deal with a Dark Rebellion, or sorry, not Dark Rebellion, but its rank up form, Dark Requiem Exceeds Dragon on the field, and that's just multi-negates on top of that pop, which is very devastating if you let it go through, which is why cards like Twin Twisters and Cosmic Cyclones are so effective at preventing these strategies from being effective. So that's what I'm going to point out right now. So just be very careful. You don't want to damage, like, don't want to go into like battle and then all of a sudden they go rank up magic, pop your card, now I can negate everything you can do. You just don't want to be in that situation, and you don't want to be like suddenly Shaddoll Schism removes your card. Yeah, these are all things that have a built-in weakness for us to exploit. Ruling number 3 is going to be Magical Meltdown Misplays. Yes, these 3 M's here, which leads to a procedural error. The line in question is this: the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated. That's the only line that I really care about. The rest of it, also your opponent's cards and effects cannot activate when a monster is fusion summoned this way. That's not the line in question here, so I'm not really going to bother with that. But that particular line, I want to break it down for the very first part. The activation of your cards and effects. The activation is the part that cannot be negated, all right? Now, a lot of people tend to forget that it doesn't just protect invocation, it protects all fusion spells. And seeing that Dogmatica invokes Shaddolls is a pretty common deck in this meta, remember that Shaddoll Fusion is one of those cards that would be protected by it. And also Shaddoll Schism is another one. And I've seen people activate their Borload Savage, negate the card only to get completely punished. But I've also seen the reverse, where the owner of the Magical Meltdown forgot that their cards are protected from being negated, or the activation of the card is protected from being negated, that they well, they just let it go through, and it was just like a complete disaster at that point, because clearly you do not deserve to lose like that. So that was one thing. And in other words, don't negate the activation of any of the cards that would have a fusion summon. Yes, and Shaddoll Schism is one of those cards as well. It does include a fusion summon of a fusion monster, and therefore it is also part of the package, which the Magical Meltdown would protect the negation of the activation of. Yeah, sounds a bit wordy. However, here's one of the chets that I've seen. This card does not protect you against Ash Blossom, because this only protects you against the negation of your activation, not the negation of the effect. Ash Blossom negates the effect of the card, which is not protected by Magical Meltdown. And the argument that I've seen people say is, oh yeah, I have Magical Meltdown, I can't be negated. Yeah, you're kind of overgeneralizing it, and that is clearly wrong. That is the person that would say you didn't know better. At best, at worst, someone's clearly trying to abuse the rules, trying to make a little quick chet. And the argument sounds so legitimate because it's on the card. It says this cannot be negated, and they kind of rewrap the words a little bit, like my dyslexia a little bit, and they work it around like that. Well, now you guys know better. In fact, this was part of an older ruling video that I did about why Ash Blossom would work against this card, especially against Shaddoll Fusion. Yeah, so there's that. So there's a lot of little bits to keep in mind of, but remember, TLDR, Magical Meltdown, the activation of the card and the activation of the effect, they are protected from negation. However, the effect itself is not and you have to remember it as a player using it and also a player playing against it. All right. And it is now time for the quickfire round. These are the rulings that you can clearly solve by reading the cards. All right, this is PERTFC. First one is going to be Dragon Link. Players, remember your guard dragons forces you into a dragon-based restriction. Yes, I know we've seen this one happen a couple of times, even on live stream. Remember, Dragon Links, you can't go into Halki Vibrax when you have that card up. And it's not just that. Also goes for Prank Kids as well. Prank Kids Pandemonium and Rank Up Magic Knights. All right, Phantom Knights Force. Remember, when you activate your card and you put yourself under a restriction, Ice Dragon's Prison becomes one of the things that are affected. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I activate the card and I banish this card and that card, and skipping the summoning. When you skip that summoning process, you forget that the card actually summons the card out, and that's why people tend to forget. So, you know, restrictions of your summons are really important. Now, next one is going to be attack modifiers, dinosaur, Lost World. Remember, if your monster is not a dinosaur, you lose attack and defense based off of, well, your typing. It's 500 attack and defense that you're about to lose. But this applies to both players. I've seen one player apply it on one side and not apply it to the other side. That was really funny because that's a lot of extra damage going through, and that's undeserving. Remember, you have to play fair, guys, and it applies to both sides. This is a new card ruling that is a little bit important. Dragunity Glow. Dragunity Glow lets you summon back an equipped Dragunity monster. However, it has to summon back in defense mode, and therefore you cannot use it to revive an equipped Romulus, which I got to actually witness at one point. So yeah, just make sure you play that one properly. Another procedural error that has occurred, which is with Phantasme. Just read Phantasme fairly carefully. Phantasme, the fantastical dragon, or fantastical dragon Phantasme, it only prevents monster targeting. In other words, your back row is still fully susceptible to getting hit by targeting cards, and Phantasme cannot protect any of those ones. And one funny one, Drone Lockbird, this is not a wing beast. I know it says bird in the name, but look at the name clearly. It says Spellcaster. Yeah, so please, if you're playing against a Tri-Brigade Lyrolust build, remember that it is not searchable by I believe the Recital Starling. Yeah, because that's not possible. It's not a winged beast, and it is a spellcaster. So there's that. I get that it's wind, but that doesn't really apply to its typing there. Before I close out this video, I just want to mention a quick remote duel exclusive ruling, which is going to be PE Minor Best Practice Guide. Make sure you guys, if you're going to be doing remote duel extravaganza, invitational qualifier, or the invitational itself, make sure you follow Best Practice Guide. And the most common thing that even I got dinged for was hands. Keep your hands visible in the camera view, not just your card hand, your physical hand. And if you do move it out of camera, you know, it's just inevitable. Let's just face it. It's just inevitable. Make sure you just reveal that there's nothing in your hand when you put it back in. It's very important that you do so. You know, you guys know exactly why it got a lot more strict over the times, but yeah, it's just there to keep the integrity of the game all together, and it's for everyone to feel safe and happy about playing remote duel. And I enjoy playing remote duel as much as the next guy. But anyways, that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV and want to help support this channel, check out the subscription button, ding the notification bell, or check out the Patreon link down in the description. And speaking of Patreon, we have one new Patreon. Welcome to the Patreon family. It's BG Bruh. This cookie is for you. But that's all I got for this video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.